Well, this is what we're dealing with today. We got kind of dumped on pretty good with some snow. And I'm looking at this guy. This is an old 70s snowblower. This thing has been in my family for about 15 to 20 years. And I know for a fact this has not run since the winter of 2013, 12 or 13. So I want to get this thing going and use it. And this thing doesn't have any spark. Yeah, there's no spark. There's no spark. I'm sure that the carburetor needs to be cleaned. So we're going to have to disassemble a bunch of this to pop the flywheel off to get to the points and condenser. And I'm going to try cleaning them and see if we can't get this thing going. So let me set up the camera and get to work on this. Okay, now let's get this out of the way. Spark tester. And first thing we can do is no, that's not going to work because it's stripped, and I just poked myself with some shavings. Okay, let me get a socket and wrench for that. Be right back. Okay, let's try this. Being held on by just the fuel line, which I take it that this fuel line is probably garbage, but we're gonna give it a try. You know what? That fuel line needs to just be cut anyway because it's petrified. So I'm just going to cut it and remove the tank. There's your fuel tank. That's bone dry. Okay. Continuing on. This bracket. It's a bigger size. Okay. Oh, that's actually a head bolt. Well, this one's got to come out. These ones have to be removed because I have to remove this front case. Okay, taking this thing apart has proven to be kind of a pain in the butt. So what we got here is this rod is put together with this, and this thing just has a push pin, right, going through it. And I tapped that out with a punch and a hammer. It tapped right out, no problem. So now I can remove this. I'm going to have to, I don't need to remove it all the way. I can just do that so that I can get to these bolts. And then that'll come off. I'm going to have to buy a new head gasket, because this thing, these brackets are held in through the head bolts, through the engine. So it's, you got to remove them. You got to remove the head basically to take this apart. Kind of a pain in the butt. But yeah, so I had to remove this little clip here that had this thing held in, and then tap out that pin. Now I can get these off, and yeah, so making progress. Okay, well, I tried cleaning these points with a piece of paper, and they were pretty dirty, nasty. And I put it back together, and I'm still getting nothing. And I should get some fire just by rotating this. It should spark. And it's not. This coil is delaminating right here. It was worse than this. See how it's coming apart? I kind of squeezed it back together. It was like frayed way out. And I think that the coil and the points and condenser just need to be replaced in this thing. So I'm going to look into parts for this. And I think this thing probably worth fixing, I think. So I'm going to look into seeing what a coil and a point and condenser costs for this. Okay, so I've removed the carburetor, because it is definitely going to have to be cleaned. And this is the linkage for the governor. It goes right here. Okay, so I got that removed. I removed the muffler. So this thing is going to have to be gone through and cleaned. I'll look up parts for the ignition, and then I'll be back. All right, well, I spent $60 some, $65 maybe. I bought points and condenser. I bought a needle and seat kit, gasket kit for this carburetor. I bought a new head gasket. Points and condenser, I said that right. And then the gasket, exhaust gasket, intake gasket, and I believe that's it. Everything that I need, basically. What I'm going to do with this, because this part is unobtainable right here. This right here I cannot get. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean it very well. See how it just kind of came apart a little bit. I'm going to clean it in my sonic cleaner really well. And then I'm going to squirt some kind of glue or something in here, and then I'm going to clamp it in my vise over here. I'll use 2 pieces of wood. Like I'll cut this right down the center, and I'll use 2 pieces of wood to clamp that really good, and I'll just let it sit up. And just reuse this. Yeah. But I got a whole new kit coming. Condenser, points, and coil. I'm replacing the coil. Might as well. And yeah, so once that stuff is all in, I will let you know. I should have done this before so that I could actually use this to clear the snow, but I didn't, so we'll get it. Yeah, I don't know. I think this thing came loose somehow. this right here. I believe that this came loose and is what did this damage. So, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get that all cleaned up, get it clamped together with some kind of glue or something, and see if I can't get this thing to reform. It'll be fine. I think it'll be alright. I'll be back. Alright, this is after half an hour of ultrasonic. Just nasty. I actually bought a new float, so I'm going to replace the float with a plastic float. I've got the head surface cleaned. I bought a head gasket, of course. I've got the head cleaned up, you know, the cylinder top cleaned up, ready for the new gasket and stuff. I actually put the cylinder head in the cleaner, but I'm going to go ahead and get rid of, you know, dump this and yeah, get all these bolts out and everything. Everything's cleaned up, so I'm just going to wait for parts. So I'll chime back in once the parts get here. I'll go ahead and, yeah, I'm not going to upload this. I'll just, like I said, I'll just wait until the parts get here, and then we'll move forward from there. Okay, this is all cleaned and dried. Now I got this stuff. That's what I'm going to squeeze in between these. That's about the strongest stuff I have. Whatever. Anyway, I got this wood cut into two. It's going to go on the sides here, and then I'm going to squeeze that glue into there, and then use the vise to clamp it together, and just let it sit there for as long as until the parts get here. It could be a week, so I'll just let it sit and see how it goes. Okay. Yeah. This stuff is nasty. I'll just squeeze it in there. Both sides. There you go. Get in there. Get in there. Okay. And then we will see if I can't do this. Okay, kind of try to position it. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good, and just clamp it. Clamp it tight. Would like it a little bit more like this. There we go. There we go. It's clamped. Get in here, give you a view. You can see it's clamped really good in there. And hopefully that glue will make it stick. We'll see. So I'm just going to leave it in this vise like this for as long as it takes for me to get those parts. And then once I remove this, I'll kind of wire away the excess glue, wire wheel it, and yeah, hopefully that'll fix that problem. It's about all I can do because I can't replace this part. So, and honestly, it's just the metal creating a field. So as long as it's together, it should be okay. All right, I'll be back once I get parts. Yeah, I decided to, well, I gotta tighten the engine. It's a little bit loose. And I took the belly pan off, and the world's biggest rat nest was in there. And I got all of the crap there. So yeah, just gonna tighten the engine down and put the belly pan back on. I cleaned it out decent enough. It's in good shape actually for its age. This is 1972, and it's still decent looking in here, so not bad. Okay, yeah. Maybe I'll just take and put some grease on this stuff. Just grab some grease on my hand here and just kind of rub it around in there on these gears. All right, yeah, the engine was extremely loose. All of the mounting bolts were very loose. This thing would have rattled like crazy. I put some anti-seize on these bolts. I got those in. I should have put some anti-seize on those. I think I'll back them out and put anti-seize compound on these bolts. Hopefully that'll keep them from rusting out. I did put some grease on the chain and those gears over here. Greased them and ran it, so that'll be good. I'm going to back these back out really quick and anti-seize them. These 3 bolts. And then this will be good to go. It's cleaned out. I got all the rat crap out of it and everything. That was fun. And yeah, so the engine was nice and mounted now. Okay. Quick note, as I changed the oil, I drained the oil. I didn't change it yet, I just drained the oil. And you can see made a colossal mess. I had made a homemade funnel out of a piece of kind of thick cardstock that I bent the edges up and kind of put it up to the block. And was trying to get it to drain out this way, and it just drained everywhere it wanted to go. Which was unfortunate. But I'm going to make sure that that never happens again. I'm going to actually route this. I'm going to go buy some fittings, a 90 degree, about a 2-inch nipple, a 90 degree, and about a 8-inch tube with a cap. And I'm going to route it out to the back here. So the next time I want to drain this, that I won't have to deal with that, because that was a total mess. And I don't want to have to tip this up on its end to drain it out of the fill tube. I don't want to do that. So, because that presents another problem. If you've got fuel in the tank and you tip it up, you're going to lose fuel. I don't want to mess with that. So I'm going to route a pipe coming back so that next time, because this is a healthy engine. This is a good engine. And I want to take care of it. And so I'm going to just route that back to the back. Yeah, so, I mean, this thing is in surprisingly good shape for being 50 years old. And I can tell this thing does not need a valve job. It cannot spin these at all in here. They're sealed good. So I am not worried about this thing sealing. Yeah, so just going to go ahead and do that with the pipe, the drain. Still waiting on parts, but just doing little stuff here and there. Okay, I was not happy with not being able to remove the adapter, the manifold plate, this here. I could not remove this thing, because there was a screw in there that, and I'll show you, it's like a bolt that goes through and bolts it to the carburetor. And I could not get it undone, but I finally was able to get it. And I've resurfaced this on my granite block. My granite block here. I resurfaced both sides of this. So it had this thick glued on gasket that was a pain in the ass to get off. And is the carburetor itself here. And I've resurfaced this as well, just very lightly on the granite block. And I cannot get this butterfly out for the throttle. I cannot get that screw out, so I'm just leaving it as is. I was able to get the choke out, and the choke plate was actually bent. And I've got that. Let me bring this with me. Carburetor, because the carburetor, I pulled the plugs out, the Welch plugs, just to make sure everything was clear, and everything's fine. So I did order a kit that's coming that has the new plugs and everything. So this is the choke assembly arm. I've cleaned the arm up really well. This was the plate. I put it on my anvil with the hammer and flattened it. It was bent, so this thing would have never been full choke off or on the way that it was bent. It was yeah, so this was a problem. So I got that straightened out. Now I'm going to go ahead and put that back in here. This was one of those bolts. This was the actual one right here that I was talking about. This thing did not want to come out. And this goes between that plate and the carburetor. And it bolts that plate to the carburetor here, and then that assembly bolts on. So I got to make sure I get both of those gaskets. There's two gaskets. There's one between this and the manifold adapter, and then the engine and the manifold adapter, right? So I need those two. And I think I actually got two coming. I bought a 2-pack of those. So that's good. But I'm going to go ahead and put the choke back in. It's nice and straightened out, cleaned. The carburetor's fully cleaned now. And this is something that was an issue with this carburetor before. When I removed this carburetor, this little slug or whatever it is inside of here was stuck. And I actually had to take a torch to this and heat it up and then spray it, kind of quench it in there to get that to free up. You'll hear it now. Hear it? I don't know, that furnace is pretty loud. I'm right by the furnace. Let me come out here and into the shop area, and maybe you can hear this better. Hear that? Yeah. These old adjustable carburetors with this long, low-speed needle right here. With that long, low-speed needle. They have that thing in there. That needs to be free. So I freed that up. And now I will go ahead and put that choke assembly back together on there. A couple of my toys. Yeah. So let's go ahead and put that back together. Okay, I had to actually grind this plate down a little bit on some of the on the sides and stuff to get it to fit down in here right. It must have flattened and made it a little bit bigger when I hit it with the hammer on the anvil. But no big deal. I went ahead and just ground just ever so slightly off of the sides of it so that it fit in here. And now we have full open throttle, or full non-choke, where that was bent before and it was obscuring the carb. Now, you know, it goes to full choke and back open. There you go. That's that. So now I'm just waiting for that carb kit and put the rest of the stuff in there. The rest of the parts, put it back together. This thing should work perfectly. Okay. Okay, I have decided, since I've got it to this point, to just go ahead and remove the valves, take a look at them, make sure they're not pitted, maybe lap them back in. Just since it's here, since I've got the head off and everything, I might as well. I went ahead and cleaned up my valves, and they are very good, very nice. This is the exhaust valve, and I've cleaned it up pretty good. And there's no pitting or nothing. It's very good, smooth face. Same with the intake, cleaned it up nicely. I will lap these in. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and kind of redo the seats a little bit. This is 3000 grit paper. And I'm just kind of cleaning the seats, that's all. Just cleaning. And that really does a good job of just cleaning that seat. That's all I'm trying to do. Now I'll do the exhaust. Just cleaning the seat, that's all. And I'll show you how that looks. Kind of a close-up. You can see it puts a shine around there. Just cleaning that seat, that's it. Okay. Okay, just stuff some paper down there, like so. And I'm gonna grab a wire wheel, cupped wire wheel, and just kind of clean that area up. Good enough on that. Clean this up again. Okay, good enough. Now I'm going to have to do those seats again. I'm going to have to clean those seats again. This surface will be cleaned with like a lacquer thinner before it's sealed. Okay? Once again, this is 3000 grit paper. It's not really taking anything off, it's just cleaning. And that looks beautiful. Okay, and look how much better that looks. Nice and shiny seats, clean. So we'll go ahead and I'll lap the valves in and valve job will be done. Okay, we'll do the intake first. Got my valve grinding compound, and I'll just put a little bit of that. Oops, I don't need a ton. Now we'll clean that very good. I'll be right back. Clean that one up, we'll do the other valve. Boy, this just does not want to stick, does it? And there you go, valves lapped. I'll clean this stuff up. We'll come back and I'll look at the rings on my valves. Make sure that it's good solid ring. Okay, I'm going to use my lacquer thinner. Go ahead and clean the surfaces. Try to get everything good and clean. Clean is important. And everything's cleaned up. Okay, so let's come over here and check out these. Let's actually go over to the magnifying glass and check that out. Okay, after a good cleaning, you can see that nice line all the way around that valve. And the exhaust, once again, good line all the way around that valve. That's how you want it to look. So that looks great. So we can put the valves back in with the springs. Valve job is done. Confident. Well, I do need to check and make sure that we still have the same valve clearance. Okay, first we'll check out the intake valve. Pop it down in there. And this should be about 10. And 10 goes in with a little bit of drag. So that's good. I'm going to leave that right there where it's at. And the same with the exhaust. Should be 10 to 12. And 10 goes in. Here's 11. 11 is super draggy, so we're good. Our clearances are good, so we'll go ahead and install the springs, and this thing will be good to go. Okay, actually have some assembly lube here that I'm going to put on the valve stems, just like that. Okay. Well, good news and bad news. Good news, I got one of them in. The bad news is one of the keepers, I lost one of the keepers. I was getting ready to do the exhaust valve and it popped. It popped out of the tool, this thing, and it went flying. I had no idea where it went. So I'm going to have to buy the bottom keeper for the exhaust, unfortunately. It's freaking annoying. That's about as annoying as it gets, but we got one of them done, and I'll go ahead and order the keeper for the bottom for the exhaust. Well, just as I finished recording that little part about losing the keeper, I looked under that mini bike over there and I found the keeper. So we'll go ahead and put this in, this next one, and I'm going to show you a trick that I found that makes these Tecumseh, Terrell Fixes All calls them Tecumseh. Tecumseh engines have a top keeper as well, and it's kind of a pain in the butt to get them in, but I've come up with a little trick to make it easier. I'll show you. Okay, put my light down there. Now the deal is with this, it has this top keeper that makes it kind of difficult to get this in there correctly. Put our valve down in there. So what I have done to make it easier, because what makes it harder is you have, of course, like I said, you have the top keeper, so it makes getting the stem through the keyhole opening more difficult. So I'll show you what I've done. Instead of crimping it like this, I'll show you how I do it. Now let's clamp this down. And when you're clamping this down, from now on, this is how I do it. I clamp it, I hold it like this. If it pops out of there, it's not going to hurt you. You're just going to catch it. If you're holding it like this and tighten that down and it pops out, you run into a problem, like I did. Okay, so we have now, spring is completely clamped. I got the keyhole pointing back towards me. The opening is back towards me. And what I do is I set this top keeper, I set it on top like this, and then I put it in there. That way you don't have to deal with this thing being on there and trying to find that keyhole. It's so much easier if you just put this on top. Just lay it on top and then go in there. There it goes. And then just pull. It didn't catch. Alright, I gotta set it all back up again. Okay, yeah, I went ahead and just did it off camera. They're in there now. And I'll do one more clearance check. Make sure we're still good with clearance. And valve job will be complete. Okay, here I have the 10 out. I don't know if you can see that. This is the 10. 10 has drag, but it goes in. And over here on the exhaust, it has drag, but it goes in. 11 will fit, I believe. 11 really doesn't fit, so we're at 10 on both. Yeah. That's perfect. Okay, very good. Valves are done. Well, I have decided to go ahead and fix up some of the parts on this. This is the muffler, which I have sandblasted, and it now has 2 coats of paint on it. It's high heat Rust-Oleum flat black. That's what I'm using on that. So I got 2 coats on that now, and I got the screws for that. And I don't know if in some of my first videos I talked about how I needed a new air compressor to run this thing. Well, that's what that's for. So I did get me a new compressor, and that thing's awesome. The screws for this are hanging over here. I need to spray another coat of paint on this stuff. One long screw and one shorter one. There's a washer there. So that's that. But I have blasted this, and I can see now I need to blast it a little bit more right here. Just a little bit. And I've blasted this. These will be painted like a flat white. And I'll probably end up blasting all of this. And right now I have the lower bracket for the fuel tank right here. No, this is the upper bracket. This is the upper bracket for the fuel tank. And I'm going to go ahead and blast that. Alright, I got these pieces all blasted. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. It'll paint nice. Oh, I did not do this yet. That's okay. I'll do that later. Got all these pieces blasted. And I've hung this one up. I don't know why I didn't hang more pieces up when I started painting. But this is one coat on this. I got some other hangers over here. I'll hang some other stuff up and get all this stuff painted. The only paint that I have is black, and I don't have enough. But I'm using this up. So this is black engine enamel. That's what I'm using, and I'll just buy some more of it. So it's going to be black, which will be cool. So yeah, there you go. All right. Hopefully I have enough paint here to put one coat on everything at least. And then I'll have to buy another can and put a second coat on everything. And a third if I got paint. One more can will do. All right, a little bit of an update here. I got these parts painted. Yeah, they're still sticking a little bit. Yeah, that'll be all right. I put the last coat on these last night, so they have dried over. And it's a little bit runny. I don't care about that though. And this one, I sprayed the inside of this because this is where the muffler's at. I sprayed the inside of this with that really high heat grill paint, flat black. And I painted the outside with regular engine enamel. So, yeah, that's that one. I need to get another can of paint. I need to get another can of the engine enamel for this. So maybe I'll run out and get that today. Start painting that up. I got the head. I painted the head with engine enamel. Yeah, so good to go. Getting there. We're getting there. So, yeah. Get another can of paint. Paint this up. And this will be ready to be put back together. Okay, good news. I just went to the store and I bought some stuff. I bought another, this is my crank flywheel nut. And I bought another one because I want to double nut these so that I can turn the crank. So I just want a double nut. Okay, I bought some 1/4-inch fittings. These 3 right here, these 4 are actually for the snowblower, and these 2 are for my air compressor. I need to change the oil out in the air compressor, and I've drained the oil in the out of the snowblower and made a mess. So I got this, and what I'm going to do is route this way and then this way. So that's what those are for. And for my air compressor, I'm just bringing out, I'm bringing this out a couple of inches to make it easier to drain. So I need to drain this. And I don't know if I think I may have bought the wrong size. No, I don't think so. This is what I'm using for the snow for this, and it's just gonna go in right there, and it is too small. That's 1/2 inch. That's 3/8, and I bought a 1/4. So do I have that? I don't think so. No, I'm gonna have to hold off on that. Anyway, I did get all of my parts. The parts box right here. And I have all of my parts to do this now. This is the float bowl. That'll go. Here's my head gasket. This is OEM Tecumseh points. And here is my carb kit. Here is my gasket, but I'm going to use these two. The gaskets for the valve cover. And I've got 2 extra here. This is carburetor, or is that I don't know. It's one of them. I think this is the intake, and then I got another intake right here. This is that big intake, and OEM condenser. So those are all the parts that I'm using. Yeah, so and I got, here's a coil and a coil with points, but these are aftermarket. These are not OEM. This is all OEM, which is what I'm using. So, well, I know I can do the motor, but this is not going to work for the air compressor, unfortunately. So I'll just keep this, and it'll come in handy someday. Put it in my little fittings down there. Yeah, so... Oh, and I bought paint. I bought another thing of engine enamel, black gloss, for this. I'm going to start spraying this. Get this one painted. This one's just drying. I'm not painting that no more. So I'm going to go ahead and start painting this guy.
Look, I am your father. Looking like Darth Vader. Black. First coat is done. It's looking beautiful. I'll go ahead and let that set up. Yeah, I missed a little bit right there. Who cares? That's the first coat.
Okay, so here is the stator and coil. This is the same coil. It needed a new connector, so I put a new terminal on it. That was bad. And I think it looks way better. You see how it's together at least, and I've wire wheeled it to clean it. So that's ready to go back on. So I will put that on here. I've got my double nuts on there. So I'll go ahead and put the stator on there and go from there. We have to set the motor at true top dead center, and the timing specs on this is to time it at 80 thousandths before top dead center. So we'll have to get that all squared away, and first things first, I want to put the stator on. So let me go ahead and do that. All right, here's our engine, and we're going to throw the stator on there. Okay, and we'll just kind of loosely finger tighten it. Okay, good. And get that out of the way there. This was hooked to the cylinder like so. Loosely tighten. You want to be able to just move it a little bit. Get this out of the way. Actually, yeah, I could actually probably cut that off. I think the whole reason this thing didn't have spark might have been this terminal. The boot on it was really bad. But that doesn't matter. We're putting new points on it anyway. We're going to renew the ignition system on this thing. Okay. If I can get in here to where I see what I'm doing. Which I can't. I'm going to have to move the camera and stuff because I can't see what I'm doing. So I'll be back. Okay, actually tipped up the snowblower to get a better view at it. So we are okay, what am I doing? Alright, I gotta put my points in. Because I'm so fine. Let's do this. Let's put this in first. I need my tweezers. Okay, I got these points in there. Basically, I just had to kind of do this to get that down in there. But they are now in. And I want to turn the engine until we're on the high side of the lobe. The highest point, I should say, of the lobe. Come on. Okay, and it's right about where I'm at. Slightly back. Right here is about the high part of the lobe. Right there. This is where we're going to use our 20 thousandths gauge feeler gauge. You want to get to 20 without moving tighten down the stator a little bit without actually moving the point arm. The key is you don't want the point arm to move at all. You want to be able, if you put your 20 thousandths gauge feeler in there and you move the point arm, it's too tight. That's perfect. That's 20 thousandths perfect right there. Now the thing is we want to go down 80 thousandths. Right now the engine is at top dead center, right at it. And we want to go 80 thousandths before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the head on, but let me show you what I'm doing. I want to put the head in a position to where it's just over the piston. Like that. So now our spark plug is over the piston. So I'm just going to go ahead and zip that on there. And I'm going to get my mic. And what I want to do is just hover this over this and zero it right there. Okay, so this is our 0 spot. Now I want to go counterclockwise down to about 90 thousandths of an inch. And then I want to bring it up right there's 80 thousandths. No, it's not either. There, boom, that's 80 thousandths, perfect. .790. Before top dead center. And what I want to do is, I just want to do it again. I want to, and let me try to get a better view of what I'm doing here. Okay. So what I want to do is, what I'm doing is I'm pressing this to the spark plug hole, like so. If I go down, back before top dead center, now we're there. I want to bring this up. This is not the most, but this is if you're in a pinch and you need to do it and you don't have dial indicators. I just want to bring this back up to 80. Carefully. And I went way over it. Yeah. Go back down. There, we're back at top dead center. Now I'm going to go down past 80 to about 90. If so. Okay, now I want to bring it back to 80. $80 perfect. That is 80 on the nose. Just trying to hold it flush on that spark plug hole. Okay, so timing the stator, I've got my meter hooked up to engine ground and the points connector, the screw on the side of the stator there, right here. That's where I've got it hooked to. And you can hear there's continuity. What I want to do is turn the stator until the beep stops. That means that the points have opened. And that's when it fires, is when the points open. So I'm just going to kind of move it. I need to loosen it just a touch. And I just want to rotate. tighten that down. Oh shit, that broke. Well, I broke the bolt. Damn it. Great. Alright, well luckily that was a pretty darn soft bolt. So I was able to just drill it out and then re-tap. And I think we're going to be fine. It tightens down. So I need to go to the hardware store and get some more of these. And I think I'm going to get a stronger grade bolt than what this is. So I'll be back after doing that. I got to blow this off too. So let me do that. Put some safety goggles on and blow these metal chips out of here. And this one I got, for this side, I've got the next longest side. I got a 1-inch bolt, and I got some extra washers because I want this to thread a little bit deeper. Okay, now I need to set my meter back up how I had it. This is not tightening. No, that's not going to tighten down, is it? Okay. Okay, now I think I got some good threads tapped into that. But I had to go the next size bigger, which was 7mm. So I went and I bought a 7mm tap. 7mm by 1.00. But that's an oddball size screw. But there is a place here by kind of close to where I live, that has, it's called Mid-State Bolt and Screw. You can get anything there. So I'm going to head up there and grab 7mm by 1.00 thread by 3/4, and yeah, there you go. If I can get 7/8 inch, I will. So anyway, I'll be right back. Okay, I made a trip to the bolt store and got a 7mm bolt, and it seems to be tightening down. So I'm going to go ahead and hook this meter back up and set this just to where those points break, and then do some further testing to make sure that nothing moved. Okay, so let's do this. This one will connect to an engine ground, and then the red wire will connect to the points. Okay, now we just need to make it to where it just breaks like that. And let's try to, you know what I need? I need a socket. 7/16. It's right where it would break. It's right there at the point. And that is good and tight. And I do have a lock washer. Very good. Yeah, that's good. Sweet. And it's right at the point, right where they break. There we go. Done. Okay, I'm going to try one more time. Let's go before top dead center. want to bring this up until it stops moving and then zero it. There's the brake. That is top dead center. So it's about right there. Zero it. And I want to go down. And the points break. Right here they are at the verge of breaking. I mean, it's right there. With how I'm doing this, I don't have an actual meter to a dial indicator to put in there, but I think this is going to be pretty darn close. So I think we're going to be good. Okay, I actually had to reset the points again to 20 thousandths because they were way too tight. So I put it back at the highest part of the little lobe, and now I have a perfect 20 thousandths. You can see it fits in without pushing this armature. It just slides in and makes contact with both sides. Perfect. Perfect 20 thousandths. So we should be good on our timing and stuff now. So yeah. Now, unfortunately, I have to wait because I ordered the dust cover and points cover and a new clip to hold it down. And I have to wait for that. But I will go ahead and install the points or the condenser. I'll put the condenser on, and then I have to wait until I get that cover. So I'll undo these. We're good. We're timed. The engine is timed. We might be a couple thousandths off, but it'll be okay. All right, cool. Okay, points and condenser installed. And after I tightened up onto here, I rechecked the gap again, 20 thousandths. Condenser installed. So there you go. And this is tight, and it's good to go. So holy crap, that was a problem. Do not Hercules down these bolts. They're not very strong bolts. And yeah, that was my bad for doing that. So anyway, we fixed it. We got by. Ignition's looking good. I gotta wait for the cover. I got the I'm gonna take these off. I've got the little dust cover and then the tin points cover that goes over that. And I bought a new clip to clip it down because mine's all mangled. See, mine got all distorted and mangled. I just bought a new one. They're cheap enough. So yeah. I'll go ahead and just leave this guy just like this. But happy with the way that came out. I'll take the head off. So now I'm just waiting for more parts. I got to wait for this cover. There was a piece of mangled tin somewhere. I was like, what is that? I don't know. I probably swept it up and threw it away. Nope. This is it right here. Right here. I think this was part of the original cover. Points cover. I think that thing got destroyed. Yeah, I think that's what happened. So anyway, I got a new one coming. And then we'll move forward from there. Can't put the flywheel or nothing on yet because I got to wait for that cover. And there's this. I got this thing put back together. Yeah. Anyway, I just need to press this roll pin in here. And I'll do that on my little arbor press when I get around to it. That's done. So I need to rebuild the carburetor. I got everything for that. And yeah, just waiting on this stuff. Anyway, I guess I'll just go ahead and upload this as another part of the video. Because kind of at a standstill. Yeah, I can put the carburetor together and maybe that'll be the next part. So, travesty averted with the broken bolt. That was not fun. But we're good to go. Oops. Okay. Sit down to put this carburetor together. I got my new float bowl. And open it. Oops. Float bowl. And we do not need the little spring that comes with the float bowl. Okay. Let's clear out the little plastic strings. Okay. This carburetor has a little dump button. So I have removed it because this kit comes with a new gasket for that. So I'm going to just put all of the parts right here. Okay. And this comes with a new small needle as well. That's good. We'll replace it all, put the whole kit in. I need to go get my Tecumseh seat tool. This tool right here for putting in your seat. It's Tecumseh number 670377. Here's the seat, and the side with the ring goes down. The ringed side goes down. So we'll go ahead and install our seat. Okay, I just put the seat in. No, you can see that in there. And this is motor oil, fresh clean motor oil, just remnants. I just kind of dipped this in that motor oil and touched around that seat a little bit to give it a little bit of lubrication and popped it in. So there you go. The seat is in. Now we will continue. And I want to put the little gasket on this guy right here, this little dump valve. This gasket right here in the kit, it's kind of a big donut. And once again, I'm going to use the oil. I'm just going to dip it in there and put it on this thing so that it'll help it pop in there like that, see? And then that just goes down there. That goes like that. And then your spring and cap go on the outside here. There. And it's on. Okay. Okay, and it looks good. The level looks good. It's kind of just barely sloped down, just barely. Well, that's going to be good. Oh, you know what? I forgot something. Before we tighten that down, and I got to remove the needle and seat again. Because I forgot to put this plug in. This big guy. Yeah, so these Welch plugs, I just use my arbor press and a flat punch and kind of just punch it, and it spreads it and seals it. See, it's in there now. So I got to do the same thing with this one. I got to find a way to position it on here to where it's not going to damage anything. Like that would be good right there. And then just, this isn't going to work. This punch ain't going to work for this one. I'll have to find something else to punch that down. Okay, so I took a old punch and I ground a flat on it, and I cut it. It was about this long. I cut it, ground it flat. So I made a short punch. So now we'll be able to punch this. Now we'll just be able to punch this. Hold on to it and just, that's it. It just puts a little punch in it, that's all. Okay, now with the plugs all taken care of, I can put the needle and the seat back in again. And now we can put our bowl on. Okay, now I do want to turn this in until it stops, and I want to go 1.5 turns out. So there's a half, 1.5 turns out. That's where we're going to start with that one. Now we'll put this guy in here. Here is the brass washer, and then we got to put on the O-ring, and then this guy goes into here. Thread it in until it stops, and then we're going to go one turn out. Okay. There, stopped. There's a half and one. So that's that. So that is the carburetor done. Alright, well, I was not exactly excited about how I had my wiring routed. So I went ahead and routed it underneath this. This is how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to go in underneath this little tab on the condenser. So I did that. I actually retimed the engine again. And I put a kill wire in. This is a kill wire. This tab, there's a little tab on there that was on the original points. So I used that tab and I crimped this black kill wire, which is coming out right here. It's routed through here, it goes underneath with all this other stuff, and then it comes out to here, and it'll connect under the carb assembly. Right here is where it connects. This tab's right here. That's where I'll connect the kill wire. This thing is all good to go now. I just gotta wait for, wait for that cover, and then we'll be putting it back together. So that is that. I got my valve cover and these surfaces cleaned. I cleaned all these surfaces, mounting surfaces, and I've painted the valve cover and the bolts, and one of them fell out right here for the recoil, and then this guy right here is just part of the mounting, part of the mounting. So I'm going to go ahead and put the recoil back on because I got all that painted. It's right here. And this right here. I stuck these little trim pieces on and painted it because they were not quite painted, and I wanted it to all look pretty. So that's that. So I'll go ahead and put the recoil back on, and I peeled some of these masks where I had stuff masked. Yeah. It's going to look nice. And there is the recoil attached, and a little bit of a paint run there. It ain't perfect, but hey, at least it's protected, right? That's what matters. There you go. Very good. Works great. That's what it's all about. Protecting with paint. So this thing will last another 50 years. All right. Well, I'm afraid that's all I can really do until I receive this stuff. Cover this up, pop the flywheel back on it, and put it all back together. Waiting game. I had the weirdest thing happen, and I still do not understand what was going on. If you can see, you notice anything different here. If you notice, I changed the point lever there, the point arm part of the points from here to the arm and the top point connector. This is the new one. The bottom part of the points is the new OEM. What I did was I put the flywheel on because I just wanted to see it spark. So I put when I had the new points that I originally put in, put the flywheel on there, spun it, not getting any fire at all. And I'm like thinking, okay, this thing should fire. But I was getting nothing. So I took the flywheel back off. I checked my point gap. It was good. No problem. So I unhooked the condenser, got it out of the way. And then I hooked my meter, my continuity meter, from the engine ground to this point of the ignition right here. And with the points broken, I was still getting continuity. And I have no idea to this time how that was happening. I actually removed this part of the new points and I inspected it, looked at it. It's like, how is this, when the points are broken, how is there continuity from engine ground to here? It did not make sense at all. Here's that new points, and I looked over this thing. I looked all about it, and how in the world, I don't get it. I still don't get it. I don't understand how, but it was, even when the points were broken, there was continuity from engine ground to this terminal. Has anyone else experienced that? I could not see, because if you look at this right here, you have points that are broken. This spring clip comes over to here, and this is insulated. You see, this is insulated here, so it's not connected right here. I think that somehow this was connected right here somehow, and I don't quite get how. I couldn't visually see metal to metal at all, but undoubtedly the points were grounded and would never fire. So I cleaned this top point, and it's in pretty good shape. I cleaned it and I put this in there, the original points, not the bottom part, just this top part, the arm and terminal, and no continuity. Continuity was gone. And if I take the flywheel and the key and put on there, you'll see now it sparks. I wire wheeled the magnets, cleaned the magnets up. They were a little rusty. Okay, so now I have the flywheel over. This is my kill wire coming out, and that's going to hook to the tab, the kill tab. So now when I spin it, you'll see there's spark. See that? Let me turn the lights off a little bit. And you know what else I want to do is I want to get the tripod. I want to put the camera on the tripod so that I'm not moving it. Okay, now we're on here. I'll turn off one more light and then I'll spin the flywheel and you'll see it spark. There you go. That's a good hot spark. We now have spark, so I am just waiting for now I am only waiting for the covers and stuff. The dust cover, the tin cover, and the clip. Alright, well here's the starter. I've got it wired. I've got a new plug on it. Here's the button. The button I know works. I've got it wired up. And this is something that I ran into. I actually tried using the starter before and it didn't work, and I figured maybe it was the switch, maybe it was these prongs. And this starter is just bad. I can plug this thing in and show you. It is plugged in. I hit the switch. Why is the switch stuck? Switch seems to be stuck now. And I removed this and plugged it directly into the wall here. See, it's not turned on right now. The power's not on. Switch works. If I turn the power on, now we've got power going through the switch to this. And it doesn't work. Boy, that's dangerous. Anyway, I got away with it. This thing is no good. Alright, so I have assembled the carburetor with this bracket on it and the flange. There's the thick gasket, and this is the gasket that mates this to this. So I decided I'm going to go ahead and put the carburetor and the exhaust on it. There's no reason not to. So I'll go ahead and get this screwdriver ready. And we'll start threading this stuff in. This one's a little, oops, this one's a little tricky to get to. There we go. That's on there good. Okay. Now we'll let me put that little linkage, get that ready. This little link right here. If I can remember how this goes. I know this goes like this. I didn't. Maybe I did. I gotta look through my phone. Did I take pictures? I'd be shocked if I didn't. I'd be a little irritated with myself if I didn't. Okay, it took me a little bit of figuring, but I actually had to go back and look at my video. But I got it hooked up. I got the linkage all hooked up. So that's that. Now I'll put the muffler on. And I did remove the paint off of the mating surface. Like so. We're getting there. We're getting put back together. So I'll run this up, and there's the underneath here there is a spay connector, like a we put a terminal on this and you connect it to there. I have to get fuel line, And as soon as we get our points cover and stuff, we'll be really buttoning this thing up. But it's looking good. We're getting there. We are getting there. Starting to look like an engine again. I put the valve cover back on, of course. It's right here. Painted it. I painted it black. Cleaned the surfaces really good. It's got new gaskets in it, and yeah, everything's going to be doing just fine. So we'll put the head back on, just keep it covered up. And I got this thing cleaned up today. I got the outside cleaned up as good as I could. Washed out the inside of the tank. Tested the valve. The valve is good. There's no leaking. It works. It does not leak. It's clean. So our gas tank is good to go. Okay, well, I got the spark killer hooked up. You can see where I got it wired right there. Let me try to get into this really good. Okay, you see that double-edged blade there. When you kill the motor, you'll see this thing comes up and makes contact with this, and that kills the spark when that comes up and contacts that. Alright, well, I got my points cover and the clip. One thing that didn't come with it was the dust cover. So I made one out of a Raisin Bran cereal box. I just put this down on the box, traced around it, cut right inside of the lines with a sharp knife. Just, you know, cut right inside of the line so that it would fit inside this, and cut a hole here for the crankshaft. I'll probably open that up just a little bit right through here. But yeah, I just didn't want to wait for this, so I went ahead and made my own. Alright, and there it is. A little bit too big of a diameter on my cereal box dust cover, but that's okay. It still covers the points. It'll be fine. But everything fits good, so that is that. Now I can actually start putting this thing back together. Alright, well, I decided that I wanted a better, a more precise timing. So I bought a dial indicator, and right now I have it set right at 0, which is top dead center, and we can see where my timing was at before. You can see right here, if I move the crank, it is right where it changes at 0. So that is top dead center. So I'll put this in here in the camera, and then I'll get it all set up and focused in on that indicator, and we'll take a look. Okay, we are pretty much right in on it. So 80 thousandths is where the 20 is right here. That's 80 thousandths. So I'm going to turn the motor backwards, and I've got my meter set up to beep when the points basically will contact. So you want the spot where they're just opening, or in this case they'll be closing. We want to go where it beeps. Okay, now this right here is 80 thousandths. Right there. So this should be beeping right here. But it's right there. It's about 88 thousandths. So I was close. I had it set at about 88 thousandths. So these points need to be beeping still right here. They need to be beeping. So I need to, and we will just try to fine tune this thing a little bit. There it goes. Okay, see now we're at 80 thousandths, so now I'm going to try to tighten it back up right at this point. Yeah, look at that. That's right at 80 thousandths. Okay, I just took some air and blew into these. And what I want to do is just clean these threads with some lacquer thinner and a Q-tip. So I'm just dipping the Q-tip in the lacquer thinner and going in here and just kind of cleaning. There you go. Good enough. Got them clean. Cleaned up decently. Now I'll just wipe the top of it down. Clean sealing surface on both the head and the block. And I just want to loosely kind of put a couple bolts in. Right. Okay, grab a couple bolts. All right. And like this. Go. Yeah. Let's bring it over here a little bit so you can see this part of the engine. It looks good, don't it? I'd say it looks pretty good. Okay, you can see that these two holes line up. You see that? This one lines up with this one. So that is my guide for putting this in. Just make sure those holes are close lined up, and I should be able to just clamp that through there like that. It should be lined up. So I will try to vice grip or channel lock that. See if I can't kind of press this together, press this through here. Yeah, that's pretty much. Not quite. I'm going to try to pop it with a hammer and a punch. Yep, that's gone through. Good deal. Oh, I got to put that thing in there to hold it down. But I can make this to where, well, it doesn't work there. Yeah. Okay, now I just have to put that clamp through there. This holds this stuff into place like that. Okay. I think that's good enough. Okay, now I do need to, oh shoot. I can't torque these down with that in the way. Oh, God. Okay, I got all that removed. And I got my torque wrench set to 18 foot-pounds, which is just over 200 inch-pounds. So, okay, we're ready to torque. Four, 8. There. Torque. Compression is looking good. We're up almost to 70, well, 70 pounds, about 70 pounds with the compression release. So that is good. I need to put oil in this thing. I need to put the plug in it. I just checked spark. Spark is strong. So we're good to go. This thing should fire and should run. Let's let that kind of drain a little bit. Okay, got my fuel line all situated. This is gasoline that I drained out of my mini bike and my power washer. This is ethanol free. Ethanol free gas. I will put that in. That's a little bit of fuel. Be enough to get this thing to fire up. Now we get to test how actual fuel resistant this paint is that it's engine enamel. So I got some on there. And it looks like it wants to come right off. Okay, let's open up this valve. Fully open. I've got the transmission, the clutch is disengaged. And let's see what we get. Full choke. Alright, obviously I have to adjust the governor. It's run a little too fast. keep killing it. Yeah, this thing's running. I mean, it's losing gas. Oh, it vibrated itself closed. That's weird. A little bit of fine tuning to do yet, and this, I need to put a new bushing in this. This thing's leaking. The gas tank's leaking. But yeah, it sounds pretty good, runs pretty good. I adjusted the governor so it doesn't run quite as wide open. Got a lot of oil burning off of it. Well, yeah, I like it. Alright, I like it. This is, I have to replace that bushing in this tank. That is just leaking. Yeah. But yeah, that's some just wet, ridiculously wet snow. And this thing just throws it a mile. This thing's crazy. Yeah, it's awesome. But I'm going to go back through. I'm going to re-torque the head bolts, and it seems to run pretty good. I'm not going to. Yeah, look at how bad that's leaking. I got the gas turned off right now. It's leaking right out of that thing. I got to replace that. I'm going to go ahead and remove this tank and drain it. And yeah, so I mean, it runs great. Runs good, works good. I'm happy with it. So there you go. Hahn Eclipse Snow Giant back in action. Now I just got to wait for some more snow. This is just slush. But it'll do a job on some slush too. So here's the valve. I got it removed and cleaned up. I don't know if I might just replace the valve altogether. I think you can get a valve and bushing in a kit. But yeah, this bushing kind of came apart. It was kind of petrified and broke off here. So yeah. So we'll get that fixed up and that'll take care of that. Alright, well, I got this side cover put back on, and that was no fun task. I had to remove this assembly again, this arm assembly. I had to pull that all off again because this goes underneath this yellow bar. So I did that, and then I retorqued the head down. I got this all installed. It's all good to go. Yeah, so I got the, I retapped these holes and bought a couple new bolts to mount this top bracket here because the other one's stripped out. So I had to tap that and fix that. Retorqued the head bolts, and I should have the fuel situation today. I should have my new valve and grommet today. This was a trash pick. The neighbor across the street threw this out. This is a Toro CCR 3000. Nice little 5 horsepower 2-stroke snowblower. And I've drained the fuel out of it. I did spray some fuel into the carburetor and pulled it. This thing does start and die. So I will order up a carb rebuild kit for this. And the primer bulb needs to be replaced because it's broke. It's non-existent actually. See, right there's the primer bulb. It's missing. So I'll put a new primer bulb on it. Drain the fuel out. I'm going to put some new gas in it. Probably replace the gas line. Rebuild the carburetor, and this thing will be nice. It runs good. The motor's strong. Nice, good compression. It sounded great when I started it. It just started and died. So that'll be an easy one. And then this guy will be done today with the fuel situation over here. So I get a new valve and grommet. So yeah. And we'll be back in biz. This came today. Just came. This is my bushing and new valve. Ordered it yesterday and it showed up today. So that's pretty good. Okay, so just trying to help it in this hole. And then just kind of give it a spin so you know it's seated well in there, and then the fun part, this has to go in there. And I'm just going to try to spin it. You got shoulder problems too, so that don't help. It don't help to bend that like that either. Alright, well, that was not fun, but I got it in there. And how I did it was basically getting it started and then just doing this, pressing down, and it popped in. And yeah, it was not fun, but we got it. So I'll go ahead and pop this back on the snowblower, hook it up, mount it, put some gas in it, and see if it leaks. Okay, gas tank is back on. Got some gas in there, not a ton. Gas valve is open. I had to cut a little bit of the hose, and I almost cut too much of it. You see, I don't love that I don't have a ton of hose there, but it's good. It's not leaking. More importantly, the valve is open, so gas is going over to the carburetor. So yeah, go ahead and start this thing up. That's going to do it for the repair on this guy. We're good to go. No fuel leaks. Yeah, it's not leaking at all. No drips. Not a single drip. Alright, very good. Well, thanks to everyone for watching this series. Subscribe if you are not subscribed. Look forward to that repair coming out. That's going to wrap up the Snow Giant repair. Alright guys, see you on the next one. Bye for now.